UC Santa Barbara comes in as the number 15 team in the country. Depends on which poll you look at. We're looking at USA Today, but this should be a pretty fun one in terms of looking at how their batting order stacks up. Xavier Esquer will be at third, Jonathan Mendez, and then Jack Holman, our player to watch at the top of the broadcast. Isaac Kim be in the cleanup spot. Nate Vargas is their designated hitter. Ian Fernandez is catching. Latrey McCollum is getting the start in center field. Jeremiah Crane is in right field. Ori Nunez is at short. USC lining up defensively in an alignment that slightly changed. Adrian Lopez is in left, and it's Dowd and Osborne left to right in the outfield. Hedges, Martin Gruzelanek, Covarrubias, and Carpentier left to right in the infield. And Tejeda getting the start as the catcher. The battery mate for the starter today, and it is Jackson Baker. And Andrew Baker's looking for one of those starts on a Tuesday night that can really get him going for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you know, he's someone where he pounds the strike zone. 70%, give or take, is going to be with his fastball. It's in the 90s, and it has a little bit of sink to it as well. So when he gets going, I mean, he's had so far a pretty decent season, only 4 innings pitched so far, so really hasn't done a huge amount. 3 1/3 was against George Washington earlier this year, gave up 2 hits and 4 runs during that, but you know, did have 2 strikeouts, so he's had his moments, but this will be the first very legitimate lineup that he's seen so far in the Gauchos.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Alabama, a sophomore, and that George Washington game you mentioned is the only other start of the season, and that was back in the first weekend of the season, so now we're here in March. That was in mid-February, so maybe a little bit of growth. Did have that relief appearance against Rice in between. So let's see how Baker attacks this UCSB batting order. Starting off with Xavier Esquer. Starting from the stretch, and the first pitch is fouled away. We are underway from Page Stadium.
Esquer so far this season, batting .298 so far, with 14 hits and 9 RBIs. 3 home runs as well to his name.
That's called strike 1. Or I should say strike 2. 0-2 to Esquer, the redshirt sophomore. He's a transfer from Arizona. .2 coming. Just missed.
That's one that's just on the outside. That's a risky take if you're Esquer up there. That's a tough 0-2 to look at.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Taking that one and fouling it away. Esquer did have a home run on Friday, but is looking to just set the table here as the first batter of the game.
Just good job to keep battling here. Start the pitch count to get it up. That's your job as the one hitter.
Seeing a good amount of pitches. Actually saw that one nick him.
Yeah,
right on the, I think, forearm, was it?
He didn't get all of them with that one for sure. Barely grazed him, but man on first either way. So UCSB already with chance, no outs, man on first. That's a good way to start. You want your leadoff guy out on the base path just to get something going, anything in the first inning.
So that brings up Jonathan Mendez. So first batter hit by the pitch. And now first pitch to Mendez. Gets away from the catcher, Tejeda. Score that a wild pitch, and that will be the reason why there's a runner in scoring position for UCSB to get things going here in the first. We're just getting started as Jackson Baker's trying to regroup on the mound.
Started with 2 early strikes and hasn't really been able to pinpoint the zone at all except for a foul ball after that.
I think that's a balk, and that will be another base advancement. Esquer goes from second to third. Just a twitch of that back leg little hesitation, and now catcher and pitcher having a little meeting on the mound, as it is just a little bit of a rough start for Baker, though no runs have come in yet.
Yeah, Tate probably just going out there to calm him down. Just slow down. We're all right. It's just there's man on third. We have a long game ahead of us, full 9 innings, so not to worry. We'll just get him on the next pitch.
Still 1-0 at the plate. Fouled away. So the right-handed batter, Mendez, from Los Angeles, J. Sarah Catholic High School, had a pretty good weekend. Went 2 for 4 on Friday, a couple of doubles. Fouled away again, 2 strikes on him.
A little bit on top of the ball. You've seen 2 of those in a row where he's just fouled it back into the left, so maybe a little bit late as well on that, which, I mean, if you're pitching here, you keep the speed up. You don't want to slow things down because then that equals a barrel.
1-2. Grounder to the left side, and it is through into left field. And that scores the first run for the Gauchos. So base running takes advantage of opportunities. And UCSB up 1-0, nobody out.
That was Mendez's 9th RBI so far this season on that single. So starting things off early for the Gauchos. Just punching one down and out. Maybe looked like some sort of slider or cutter, so kept the speed up, but just didn't get it below the barrel.
First pitch to Jack Holman. Play to watch. Looking at ball 1. Holman, a left-handed bat. And with the way that saw his teammates get on base and then drive in ahead of him, he's got a pretty big opportunity here. Nobody out, 1 on.
He's normally someone you see over at first base. Today, getting the start out in left field doesn't change much for him when he's inside the batter's box. This guy hits for power. He hits the ball real hard.
1-1 misses. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's all started with a hit-by pitch on the first batter of the game, though that was really just in the middle of a pretty good at-bat. Esquire had fouled off a couple of pitches, and Baker just missed his spot and kind of glanced a ball off the forearm. And all of a sudden, UC Santa Barbara kind of showing why they're the number 15 team ranked in the country. They were just able to pounce on those mistakes. Now a ground ball to the right side. Could be a double play. Score it just a 3-6 force play. And 1 out is recorded.
Tough play for Baker to get all the way from the mound over to first base on that one. It's just a tough PFP, but you should keep looking to get ahead in these counts. Put the pressure on the hitters. As able to see it one more time. Holman talked about him being a power hitter. This time just chops one over to first. See him pull a lot of balls. That will be for sure, as everyone will be ready out in right center field.
Isaac Kim now. Kim's getting the start at first base, as we were talking about Holman. Normally those everyday first base starts. Kim now waits with Holman on at first, and it's a fly ball to center. Tracking it down, Braden down, and it actually just drifts over the wall. And a home run. Boy, Isaac Kim showing the power, and it's a 2-run home run, 3-0 UC Santa Barbara.
Not only is that his first home run of the year, that's his first extra base hit so far of the year as well. Averaging 370 this year, and that ball just kind of keeps going and going and going, and finally lands over the fence. And UCSB just up early. You see a ball that's left kind of just right down the pipe, right down the middle. And That was just Baker kind of whips over, and I think he knew that one was gone pretty quickly. Hard to see it from where we are, is kind of just looked like it was hanging and out in center field. Dowd looked like he was tracking it down, but certainly not, I guess.
So how about Isaac Kim driving it over that right center field wall? Straightaway center is about 400 feet away as a check swing squibs it over to third. Hedges able to make the play, and there are 2 outs. So a quick recovery from Jackson Baker, though 3 runs have come across here in the top half of the first inning.
You know, in my keys for the game, I talked about UCSB trying to force it into a pitcher's duel. You know what's one better than a pitcher's duel? Just scoring so many runs that you can't make it into a pitcher's duel. Just keep it out of that area and just keep letting them fly and try to extend these innings for as long as you can. I mean, that hit by pitch, it looks like everything was kind of in Baker's favor until he had hit that batter, but then things kind of compiled over and over again, and those innings that get extended. I mean, we've seen it before in past MLB games. If you look at Yankees against the Dodgers late as well, those innings that just keep on going.
1-1 now to Ian Fernandez, the catcher for UC Santa Barbara.
Batting .250 so far for the Gauchos. One of the few people that's not batting up into the high 2s or low 3s.
That one called for a strike. Catching the outside corner is Jackson Baker. Just trying to get out of this first inning. 1-2. 2-2.
You know, if you're Baker, you really just have to calm down right now. Just eliminate anything after this and just go for one pitch at a time. Hit that strike zone and make them make you pay.
Swing and a miss. And that'll do it for the top half of the first inning. So the 1 strikeout ends the inning for Jackson Baker, but he does see 3 runs cross, partly in thanks to a 2-run home run. And the Trojans will have a shot offensively in the bottom of the first inning. Try to answer off of Isaac Kim's 2-run shot on Big Ten Plus right after this. In the field, and we'll get to their starter, Nathan Aceves, as USC's offense looks to get going, trying to answer an early 3-0 deficit. Trojans bring in a lineup that, well, a little bit of a mix-up, but mostly the same, at least at the top part of the order. Trojans will have a couple of their experienced and really main offensive contributors. We can take a look at their batting order. Braden Dowd will lead it off. The first baseman will be one of those that you'll see every day at the top part of the order. Even though he is a first baseman, it is kind of one of those things where he does have the spin and he does have the capability to be the table setter for USC.
Yeah, absolutely. Batting .310 so far this year. He's who you want as a leadoff hitter because, I mean, he gets on base. It's really as simple as that. .414 on base percentage. Doesn't strike out as much as other people in this Trojans lineup sometimes do. And, you know, sometimes he's able to get those home runs. Two home runs so far this season.
Can also talk about the starter for UC Santa Barbara in Nathan Aceves. The right-hander is getting a start today, and it kind of seems like, being that all his other appearances are out of the bullpen, it's going to be a bullpen game. Pitch is high. 2 balls, 1 strike to Dowd.
I think the Gauchos are kind of fine with it really being a bullpen day. You can't go with your starters every single time. Give them a rest, especially, I mean, it's a Tuesday, right? So it's a little bit different from those series that happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's against the Trojans, who are an unranked team. They're still good, but, you know, if you ever want to have a bullpen day to rest up your starters for the weekend, this would be now.
That one misses. So 3-1. Hitters count for Braden Dow. Sev is a true freshman from Huntington Beach. That one misses. There's a leadoff base runner, so it sort of mirrors to how UC Santa Barbara's offense started the day.
Yeah, he's someone who draws walks just all the time. 34 walks now to those 28 strikeouts, but just getting on base and avoiding those base running issues as the Trojans is really going to be huge in this matchup. They've put up a huge amount of runs before in the first inning. If you remember back, they had 10 against George Washington all the way back in the season opener. So they're not really too worried about this 3-run deficit.
First pitch to Ethan Hedges fouled away. Braden Dowd taking a lead off at first with Ethan Hedges at the plate, the third baseman for USC.
Talked about it earlier. Hedges with 11-game hit streak right now. He's someone who you always kind of want in the batter's box if you are a Trojan. And doubled his home run total from last year, which, wasn't a massive amount from 1 to 2, but doubling, it still is doubling. So an increase in output from him, and overall batting .419 right now.
Throw over to first. Just having a look at Dowd. See the type of lead Dowd is taking on at first. Pretty medium-sized lead, not looking like he's going. And there's no reason to with Ethan Hedges being hit by the pitch. So now each starter has hit a batter in the first inning, and it's an opportunity now for USC.
Yeah, it's going to be capitalizing on those opportunities. That's really what it's about. You have man in first and second if you are a Trojan here. So it's going to be capitalizing on these opportunities, not hitting into those double plays that really just ruin innings, because that puts someone on third, but you don't really have the sac fly option to get him across, and you're hoping that you hit a gap somewhere in the outfield.
Very similar chat to what we saw a half inning ago, but now it's a Gaucho catcher in Fernandez going out there to calm his starter down in Aceves.
You're right, and I think it is a very similar chat where it's literally just, hey, we're all right. It's a man on first and second. We get a double play ball, and we're pretty much out of this.
First pitch inside to Bryce Martin Gridzolonic.
I think that's definitely a purposefully placed pitch. They're definitely going to go inside right after they hit someone, just really command the batter's box and try to back them away, because then they could go outside.
Going the other way, flying it to deep right field. It is off the wall, extra bases, and everyone's going to hold up, as maybe the lead runner in Dowd had kind of held up, seeing if the right fielder Crane was able to get under it and make the catch. So it ends up being a very long single.
Yeah, much like the home run from Isaac Kim earlier, that ball just kind of floats and stays up there, and everyone kind of has to hold to see if they have to tag, and turns out not. You even see Grudzolonic. He's halfway to second base there. He thinks he's getting a double. He's ready for the double, but 12-game hit streak now, no matter what.
Swing and a miss there. Dean Carpentier up at the plate. So now the bases are full of Trojans.
And someone who doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of RBIs in Carpentier is currently up at the plate, but what a better time than now to start logging those. Only 2 RBIs on the season and 3 extra bases in general. He's a guy that walks quite a bit, though.
Check swing, actually a foul tip on that check swing, so you don't have to either make a call if you're an umpire as to whether he went around or not. Hit the bat. It's a foul ball. In that case, it was a straight-up strike since catcher was able to make the squeeze, and now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded opportunity for Carpentier. Strike 3 is called, and a big first out for Nathan Aceves.
Looked like a high breaking ball that just caught the top end of the plate, but if you're Carpentier, you got to be wanting to swing. It's bases loaded. This is what you think about when you're a kid. Let it fly. See what you can do. No outs at that time. Get one to the outfield at least. Oh, yeah, high breaking ball that catches that top corner. But at least try to get one to the outfield, see what happens, put one to the opposite side, and see if you can get a run across.
That brings up Augie Lopez well inside. Dipped out of the way of that, and it's 1-0.
Augie Lopez, 429 so far this season, so another hitter that has a high average, and you'd think a decent chance to get on base here. But now if you're the Gauchos, double play ball it ends it. You don't have to worry anymore, and you get out of this inning with no damage done.
Chopper, this could be the double play they're looking for. 4-6-3. And how about a double play to end the inning, and it prevents a USC run from coming across. Big end to the inning for Nathan Aceves as he gets out of the big jam. 3-0. We go to the second. Following the double play, Gauchos able to tiptoe around trouble on Big Ten Plus. Goes baseball. Nathan Aceves toeing the rubber for his second inning of work. And he will work the number 6 hitter, actually 7 hitter, LaTroy McCollum.
He's someone that also is slightly below the 250 mark, 244 so far this season, but has a home run and 3 doubles to his name.
Chops it to the right side, and that'll be 3 unassisted. 1 out.
That's a good sight if you're Baker, just to see that, okay, everything's calm now. We don't have any ducks on the pond just yet to worry about. He started the inning last time with a hit by pitch, and then things went very awry quickly after that with that home run that really made it to this 3-run lead for the Gauchos.
1 out, nobody on, and Jeremiah Crane, the right fielder, stepping in. 1-0. That one just misses. 2-0 to Crane.
Hasn't at bat so far against this season against Fresno State. Struck out in that at bat, but hasn't had any other. This is the only other time that he's been to the plate other than that.
Fouled away. You see the little cage face mask like on in front of the helmet. Crane electing to do so. Added protection. Swing and a miss there. It's 2-2.
And Crane coming over from Tacoma Community College. Over there, he was pretty solid. Slugged .468 and was on base 37% of the time.
From Tacoma, Washington. Now the junior looks at ball 3. Full count.
Really don't want to give this one away if you are Baker right now on the mound.
Fouled away. 3-2.
That's what you really want if you're bottom of this order, is just to raise the pitch count more and more, try to get a new arm out there and switch things up, and just battling, especially if it's your second at-bat so far this season. Really just keeping things alive.
3-2 offering again, and it is to second. Easy play, and it's 2 outs. So, Jackson Baker, seeing that hit by pitch, end up kind of snowballing into 3 more runs for UC Santa Barbara in that top of the first inning. Now, gets to start with 2 outs here in the top of the second.
Yeah, some pitchers settle down. I mean, you definitely don't want to see a pitcher need 3 runs before they decide to settle down, which is the case here, but right now it's so far working, I guess.
Bunt shown and pulled back. This is Corey Nunez, number 9 hitter for the Gauchos. Shot Baker. 1-1.
Nunez played quite a bit this year for being the 9 hitter, batting 158, which might be why he is the 9 hitter, but has a few hits to his name, 6 hits so far, 2 RBIs.
Up the middle, that is a base hit. Right as you say it, on cue, Nunez able to turn that lineup card over back to the top of the order for UCSB.
Which is, if you're USC, able to see this one just sent right back next to the leg of Baker. That's huge if you're the Gauchos. Now you get to the top of the order. Esquire up, so he started with a hit by a pitch in that long first at-bat that we saw.
So 2 outs, 1 on. That one in there. 0-1 to Xavier Esquire. Baker not paying too much attention to the runner on at first as he goes. And there's a stolen base. A little bit of defensive indifference to Heda. Did have the ball on his right hand, hesitated to throw, just ended up eating it.
Yeah, didn't really look back at all. I mean, you kind of said it, not paying attention over there really at all to Nunez. Not really sure exactly why. I would have loved the force out if you're SC.
So now 2 outs, a runner in scoring position for UC Santa Barbara. Pitch fly to left field. Should be playable for Adrian Lopez as he's able to make the catch. And that'll do it for the top half of the second inning. So 1 runner does get on via a base hit. That's about it. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Still 3-0 UC Santa Barbara over USC. Trojan Bats coming up next on Big Ten Plus. You're with us on this Tuesday evening here at Page Stadium. You can see, behind the plate, it is LMU's campus. Of course, USC will be trading home stadiums throughout this year. The renovations at Dato Field will be there next year. We'll be there soon, really. Adrian Lopez in left field, making the catch to end the top half of the inning. And, of course, bringing up the bat to start the bottom half. There is strike 1.
136 hitter. Not necessarily ideal, slugging 227. He has 2 doubles, so out of his 3 hits, 2 of those are extra base hits.
Check over to first, and it is strike 2 called on the check swing from Adrian Lopez.
This week, batting 3 for 11, but before that was 1 for 17. So I guess on a hot-er streak, I wouldn't say it's necessarily boiling hot, but definitely warmer than it was before.
That one in the dirt. So Aceves back out there for his second inning of work, was able to tiptoe around. Bases loaded. Nobody out situation, and Lopez gets hit. So the second hit batsman from Aceves.
Yeah, that one came in with some pace also. That one was high and inside. I guess got away from him and just gets him right in the shoulder blade. The top left corner of that 5. But base runner on board either way. Ooh, maybe more on the tricep, but so far UCSB been pitching USC inside quite a bit so far.
That one in there to Dylan Osborne. Right fielder, batting left-handed here. Adrian Lopez, pretty good speed on at first, and he is picked off. He thought he was safe. You can see him kind of look with the maybe shocked face. Let's see here.
Oh, so hard to see. We got base coach's head somewhat in the way, but see, he's not going to want to review it. But when I was talking about avoiding those base running issues in my keys to the game for SC, I think that's, if we could have replayed that and shown it in the beginning of our broadcast, that's what I was saying to avoid. So USC gets something going in this inning, and then as soon as they do, poof, it's gone.
1-2 now at the plate to Dylan Osborne.
This season so far, 3 appearances, but, or excuse me, only 1 at-bat so far. That was a strikeout against Rice.
Osborne working the count at 2-2. Transfer from Washington. Grounds it to third. All of a sudden, from a leadoff base runner to 2 outs, nobody on in the inning in a matter of a few pitches.
Just not what you want if you're USC. You now have your 8-hitter in. Covarrubias, who isn't necessarily the worst person in the order. 37 at-bats, 10 hits. So batting 280 is tries to lay down a bunt, but you know where he is big is in the field. He hasn't made an error so far this year, which is a major improvement from last year when he had 17. So that's where he's really shined so far, improvement-wise.
Speaking of second base, second baseman grounds out to second baseman, as that'll end the bottom of the second. Let's go to the third. 3-0 UC Santa Barbara. It is Nathan Aceves starting to cruise a little bit, able to get a 1-2-3 inning in a way. Of course, getting some fortunate 3 and 4 due up for UCSB, as they are facing a new pitcher on the mound for the Trojans, Andrew Johnson, 6'3" true freshman. First arm out of the bullpen for USC, as Jackson Baker goes 1 turn through the order and turns it over to Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, 3 innings pitched so far during this season. A lot of them were just one batters. He's gone through a third a few times, but 2 single innings against UC Irvine at the beginning, and then 1 in that series at the very, very beginning, the opening series of the year against George Washington. But up 2 hits so far and only a run. 7 strikeouts to his name, so definitely someone, if it's a bullpen day, that you want out there.
Ball 1 on the just off the outside edge. Johnson from San Juan Capistrano sees that one go to deep center field over the head of Dowd and to the wall. Extra bases for Jonathan Mendez. And there's a leadoff stand-up double.
And suddenly Jonathan Mendez as well, 2 for 2 on the day. Had a single out through the gap of short and third before, and now this one bombs it out to left field. So the pull hitter is really getting his legs under him so far this season. That's his 4th double in the past 4 games so far. So he's been someone that's been doing great for this Gauchos, and to lead him off for this inning, that's huge to get someone out on second.
Top 4 hitters, this Gaucho order, were the ones that produced those 3 runs in the first inning. As Jack Holman back up now with an RBI opportunity out there at second base.
Holman, the player to watch. I mean, played at UCLA for 3 years. There he was slugging .466. And that's only really gotten better so far, as he's .538 as a Gaucho. So just someone who's constantly swinging and wants to get on base.
0-2 now. Holman, remember, grounded into a fielder's choice. USC tried to turn 2. Ended up being pretty important that they couldn't turn 2, because the next batter hit that 2-run home run, as there is ball 1.
And trying to get Holman to swing up at eye level. Someone who likes to hack, sometimes you can get that, but Holman's a lot smarter than that. He's a veteran. He knows he doesn't want any of that. He knows where his wheelhouse is.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
That was a good breaking ball there. Able to tunnel that high fastball with some sort of curveball that drops below the zone. 2 pitches that, coming out of the hand, look really similar but end up in drastically different places in the zone.
Oh, trying to catch the inside corner, could not do so. And all of a sudden, Holman has worked it to a full count.
That pitch as well, a slider. It all tunnels so perfectly, where 3 pitches, 1 comes in on you, 1 drops, and 1 stays high.
Three-two. Ball 4. Good work at the plate from Jack Holman. And now Isaac Kim. Remember, he had that 2-run home run back in the first inning. Coming up.
We were talking about him before the game, how I was excited to see him get out there and hit it hard. I mean, no home runs this year. It's a bomb on the last one, as it kind of just kept slicing and slicing out toward deep right center field, out toward that American flag. And 914 OPS this year. Just been huge.
Outside, and it's 1-0 to Isaac Kim. Shout out D3 Baseball. Transfer from Pomona Pitzer.
The Sage Hens.
Yes. From the SCIAC Conference.
Speaking of Sage Hens, batted .383 there. There's a reason that he's up now with the Gauchos, is because he played so well down there and continue it. .370 out here now.
Two and 1. Andrew Johnson trying to work around 2 base runners to start the inning. 1 with a double, 1 with a walk. Nobody out. That one catch in the corner. 2-2.
Good pitch there. Slider that kind of kept going away from the hands of Kim. It was some sort of fastball earlier that he hit out. So probably trying to avoid any high-speed pitches.
Dropping that one a little too low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Should the bases get loaded, it would be Nate Vargas, the designated hitter, up next.
Now you're in somewhat of a dangerous position if you're Johnson because you know he hit the heater last time out, but it is 3-2.
Turning and throwing a second would be an opportunity to reset on the mound.
Which is huge with this pitch clock coming in. Being able to get that reset. If you feel sped up, especially in a 3-2 scenario like this, just turn and look back and just get a reset on it.
Still a full count at the plate. The offering. Breaking ball. Popped in the air. Stays in the infield. Runner was going towards second, but nobody was able to cover first in time because both Carpentier, who made the catch, and Covarrubias, the second baseman, were converging in on that blooper.
But it's an out either way. Those are sometimes the hardest ones when it's in between absolutely everyone and they're all kind of running over to it. Look at that. Good play from Covarrubias to just get out of the way, bail, realize, and trust Carpentier to pick up that ball. His first baseman there got priority. So smart to just get out of there and not cause any confusion.
You know what? I didn't see it at the time. I do think home plate umpire called infield fly. Didn't know if it was high enough at the time, but guess it was. So there was no real need to cover either second or first after the catch was made. Just maybe for a tag that would have to have been applied.
You know, they're holding on Mendez way back there. They've picked off twice now. No stolen bases for him this year, and I don't think he'd be going, but still keep looking him back. Maybe trying to stop it if it's a ball into the outfield for him to score and keeping him closer to the bag in that sense, but 0-2 here. Got to attack on Vargas, who grounded out earlier in this game, but don't want to let him battle back into this count.
That one just missing. 1-2.
Another guy on this Gauchos just hits the ball so hard. 364 average this season.
Turn and throw. This one more of a purposeful pickoff. Runner on second is still Jonathan Mendez. Pretty aggressive lead off at second. At least too aggressive for Andrew Johnson not to pay attention to. That one pretty high and inside, almost grazed Vargas.
Another time we've seen a pitch come. Both of these teams look like they're attacking the inside corner quite a bit. I think partially because Vargas is all over the plate right now. Try to maybe back him up a little bit.
Swing and a miss. Ball got away from the catcher in Tejeda. Runners advanced because there was no ability to really run to first. There was a runner on at first originally. Can't really try to run to first yourself if you're the batter at the plate. That's why Vargas has to jog all the way back to the dugout.
Somehow that out somewhat works in the Gauchos' favor now. They don't have a man on first and second. Instead, it's second and third, so... Or I guess 2 outs, so it doesn't matter a huge amount. But eliminates the force.
Swing and a miss there. Ian Fernandez back at the plate.
Struck out in his first attempt earlier today. That was Baker's first and only before Johnson came in for this third.
Swing and a miss again. Big breaking ball from Andrew Johnson.
See exactly what he wants to do with that. It looked as if Fernandez was way on top of that ball.
Check swing, did he go around? He did. Tag was applied, and that will end the top half of the third. So Andrew Johnson comes in, sees first two get on, but doesn't let them score. Does see them go to second and third, but that's about it. Gets back-to-back strikeouts. Third strikeout by a USC pitcher so far as we go to the bottom of the third on Big Ten play. The trouble or just the added pressure of having a pitch comp, added equipment, having to go back into your ear there. And the first pitch is a ball inside, 1-0.
And it's really been a position battle at USC right now between Tejeda, who gets to start today, and Elliott.
So that one is into center field. How about Tejeda helping his own cause, trying to win that catcher position with the leadoff single?
Yeah, I was about to say, the real reason that Elliott started more games so far, 9 compared to 5, is because of the on-base percentage. Elliott's at 417 and Tejeda's at 125, but, I mean, now that increases, and Tejeda with a huge one to start this inning off strong for the Trojans.
This is the third leadoff base runner for USC in as many innings. This one, the first from a hit.
Yeah, still haven't gotten anything really offensively going. That's been super dangerous that we've really been worried about, but now you have a base runner, and you have 1, 2, 3 coming up.
Braden Dowd back at the top of the order. That one is in there, 0-1.
Second time up today. Walked on his first attempt.
Was able to get to third. Remember, they loaded the bases with nobody out in the first inning. Strikeout and a double play ended it. Nathan Aceves has seen this type of trouble before. One and two.
No, it's a bullpen day for the Gauchos, but Aceves at 37 right now. How long really is he going to keep going for? We're in the third inning. Maybe you can go 4, possibly 5, push things out to a longer day.
Fly ball to left, pretty deep down the line, but it is foul.
Over in the trees out there definitely got me worried for a second. I thought that one possibly was out of here, but guess not. That would have been home run number 3 so far. We talked about it earlier. He's had 2 home runs so far this year and 1 last year, so doubling it would have been number 3. But instead, he's at bat again.
1-2 roped foul. Saw that previous foul ball fly right past that 326 sign. So for everyone involved, gotta get used to the new digs, even though, yeah, USC played these parks last year. It's good to keep in mind the dimensions and which park you're playing at on which day. 2-2. Of course, LMU with the blue monster out there in left. Haven't seen it come into play yet.
You talk about it only being 320 some, and Isaac Kim went pretty much dead center, yes. Center right. That's a long way out there. 400, way over 400.
That one a fly ball to pretty deep right center, but this one knocking down maybe a tougher play than it seemed for Trey McCollum. Latrey McCollum able to kind of scamper under. Maybe some of the lights affected it. The lights are on here, so we have hit 7 p.m.
Like that, and possibly a little bit of wind as well out here. Maybe not all that much, but a lot of hats flying off early in this ball game. And that one looked like it kept trailing further and further out.
Here's Ethan Hedges. Taking the first pitch and grounding it foul. Hedges was hit by a pitch. It's kind of how USC was able to get their first 2 base runners on, a walk and a hit batsman. Check swing, it didn't matter. It's called strike 2 anyway. The USC third baseman trying to see and move over his runner on at first, but isn't able to do so. Striking out, swinging. That's just the second strikeout for Nathan Aceves. There are 2 outs.
Yeah, this is the first one swinging. Earlier one was strike 3 looking. That was in a very similar position, actually, where it was bases loaded and struck out Carpentier looking. Now, a little bit different scenario, but similar. Someone on, but still gets the strikeout.
Here's Bryce Martin Gritzalonic. There is strike 1.
He has 5 multi-hit games in the first 11 so far. Batting .304 so far this season.
0-1. Of course, the UCLA transfer. Son of former Los Angeles Dodger, Mark Gritzalonic. So that one is a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Didn't have the best game of all time against his former team. Went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts, so not really what you're wanting to do when you go back and play your former roster. I mean, especially if you go over to the Trojans, which is such a huge rivalry between those 2 programs.
That one high. The other part to that, though, is talking about the UCLA-USC game on Sunday. That one ends up being not an official conference game because they will have their own 3-game series later on in the year. It would be a Big Ten conference series later on in the year.
Right, that one just tournament ball.
Yeah, it is. And more of a preseason or exhibition or just non-conference type of game where USC is maybe feeling out an opponent that they'll be able to see later when it matters.
All right, but that doesn't change the fact that those 2 are definitely going to want to win every single
There's
time
no
they
doubt
play
about
against each other.
That is called strike 3. And how about Nathan Aceves getting back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning? Let's go to the 4th. It's 3-0 UC Santa Barbara. Riding on the back of their starter, Aceves, who has been able to get around